Hi there. I wanted to share with everybody some of the opening sequences from the exercises that I presented to my online coursework Facebook group. And they get one setup with 10, 11 different exercises to do on that setup every week. And then I will oftentimes pick sequences to video and demonstrate the different options and to just generally start a discussion as to what options work well, what options don't, as well as I like to share some of the mistakes that I have, the bloopers that I have, because I think it's important for everybody to know that nobody's perfect and we're all just as capable of making mistakes and having faults. Nobody is immune. So you're going to get to see a little bit of that. So this is our first exercise. Nothing too terribly difficult, but I handled this two different ways with Sia on both the inside of the line from 2 to 3 and on the outside of that. And I like to work these different options, sometimes think outside the box a little bit, and also then go back to my computer and really break down the timing and to see what not only maybe is better, but what I could also improve it upon, but ultimately looking at what's getting the most efficient line, what's getting the fastest speed, and those time differences as well. So here on this first one, I'm going to be on the inside of the path. This is not something I would normally choose with her, just because I feel I do get a little bit wider turn on that 270 with her as opposed to my other dogs. But I think it is an option that would be very popular if this was seen at a trial. So let's take a look. And don't worry, guys, I know it's Sia, but the volume is turned off, or she's muted at least, so you don't have to worry about doing that. So you can see there, it didn't look like it in the initial map that I provided, but it was a pretty tough turn back to that weave pole entry. It's kind of recessed in there, so it was really important to get a nice tight line there as they were coming over the jump to those weaves, which will break it down and let me show you this in slow motion then. So probably one of the reasons on this that I get a wider turn on this 270 is because I go from facing her from 1 to 2 to rotating to my right, and I'm sure that rotation caused her to be a little bit wider there than necessary. So I know I could have handled this a little bit better to make this more improved as far as efficiency. But let's take a look at it here. That's where I sent her a little bit wider, and she does take up a lot of space there. Nice job reading the rear cross. And then I almost over collect her here with my spin cue turning into her, but it's something I feel is an important thing to do in order to really be in control of how much collection you get from your dog as far as how much is necessary. Okay. On this attempt, I'm going to be on the outside of the 270, so essentially I am just SERPing her on my right from 1 to 4, and I think you'll see that we have actually quite a bit tighter turn, or quite a bit tighter line from 2 to 3, and I also get a pretty nice turn at 4 too by rotating into her. All right, taking a look at it in slow motion. As she came over to us, already moving laterally away to help cue that turn. There I do a rotation into her to cue the collection. And I don't cue as much deceleration before that jump this time. And it actually was about 4/10 of a second faster on that opening the second way that I did it. So that tells me there that's a significant amount of difference. And I think when I timed it, I timed from when I first saw her appear between the uprights to when she landed and came around number 5. So now in this next exercise, the opening was very similar, just a couple of things changed. 3 was now on the other side of the jump, as well as 4 was now on the back side of this jump. And then you had a different exit off of number 5. But now instead of the 270 from 2 to 3, you had a throttle or a push through to get the correct side of 3. But you couldn't dilly-dally there for very long, because if you did, you were going to be late getting your dog cued to the backside of 4. Now, in this scenario, there's a lot of different options as far as dog path, as far as getting from 2 to 3, but also from 3 to 4. And so I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different options here. This will be the first path that I choose to show with Sia. And you are going to see right off the bat one that we had a mistake. And this is at a spot where a lot of people, I think, would have had a mistake on this course. So let's see. Getting stuck there, cueing and getting the dog through the gap, and then not being able to show enough convergence to get that backside send. Okay, so let's show it again. I'm kind of holding, watching her instead of running, and then she was just set on taking that jump, and I was not up there soon enough to cue it. So let's rectify that and think of ways that we can change that. So this is going to be one option where I just alter my handling a little bit, also trusting her just a little bit more to come in. So I was up there easily to show convergence to get the push to the backside. Taking a look at it in slow motion, I kind of do a little backy uppy cue there, kind of pull, but I'm already getting off down the line, and you can see right there I'm showing a lot of convergence in on that space, and it was just over 5 seconds. This one was from the point they came across, I saw the tip of their nose come across this line of the wing to the point where I saw their feet land on this jump, because I didn't actually get to number 5 on all of them. On this option, I tried to get kind of creative. It's hard to tell the way these jumps are set, but it was a little bit of an effort to get the dog to take the correct side of 2, either a push to the back side, or you had to really work to pull them to the correct side of 2. So on this one, I did a running blind cross on the flat between 1 and 2 to help draw the line. And then I also attempted the same thing, that blind cross kind of on the flat as she came around off of 2 to 3, which was a little bit too much all together in a small amount of space, but still good thing to try and see how it works, and see if you can finesse it better. But you're going to see how this did not work for us. I was a little late cueing that blind there. So in slow motion, that worked well. And there, I was just late at that point. I'm still actually cueing with my right hand, and she's committed to coming into the right hand, and I was just too late, not far enough ahead to cue that blind. So she was a good girly. So on this one, I just take and simplify my handling a little bit. Instead of running and doing the blind cross on the flat between 1 and 2, I've let out laterally. I cue a little push to the backside, but I'm doing it mostly as a lead out push. And then as she commits to coming, as she's coming over 2 and commits to coming to my right hand, then I'm doing that blind cross on the flat to cue number 3, and it works quite well. Much better. Oops, we had a bar there though. Good try. And looking at it in slow motion, this was by far our fastest option for this. It's far enough ahead to just cue the blind, and she comes in lovely over that jump. So here is another possible dog path, a little bit maybe out of the box, but if you were really having a hard time getting up there to get your push to the back side of number 4, this would definitely be a safe approach to doing it, which would be taking the dog to their left as they are going over number 2. It allows you to get ahead of them a little bit further. So here it is. Sia. Some lovely turns, and it actually is a very smooth line, but you are going to see that the timing of that added, I think, almost a full second. So a second, but you're maybe a little safer and you've got more time to get up there, so something to consider. And then another option as far as dog path is concerned is the push through or throttle between 2 and 3, and then going to the other direction to the back side of 4. A lot of different ways you could handle this. A lot of people would stay on the inside and pull and maybe do a front cross after 3 and get the push. That's quite a bit. So on this one that I demonstrate, I actually stay on the outside and have her on my right the whole time doing this as a push to the back side of 3 and a push to the back side of 4. Which you're going to see she actually off of 2 comes to the takeoff side of 3 and I have to really work to get her pushed back, because remember earlier I did it as a 270 and she flowed lovely to 2 to 3. So that's where it's good to know your dog's natural tendencies and how well they pull towards you or push off of you. Alright, so here it is. Good girly. So in slow motion, I have to really work to get the push and then slide over there to get the other push. So in the grand scheme of things, that option wasn't bad. It did take her over 5 seconds to execute it. So by far the fastest option was when I did the lead out push from 2 and then blind crossed on the flat before 3 and pushed this direction around 4. So that was the fastest to that point. The fastest, of course, getting from 4 to 5 is going this direction, but when I timed it out, that direct line from 4 to 5 as they go around the backside of the jump never did make up the time that going this direction around 4 to 5 did. So something to take and play with and time, and really I like doing it on the computer because I can get it down to the the thousandth of a second and really see what is the fastest. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and happy training.